Hello, everyone. My Disrupt Imposter Syndrome community. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. You know what? I don't know if you saw me. I was grooving a little to the countdown. Like, it's new. I just created it. So let me know how you like it, how you like the music. But that's going to be our theme music moving forward. When you hear that music, you know it's time to disrupt imposter syndrome. Okay. So anyway, I hope you like the countdown. I was proud. I created it recently all by myself after trying forever to figure it out. But who's here? Who's with us? Come on, let's get this started. I have a super phenomenal superwoman, super guest. She's already in the green room. She already waiting. She already watching. She will be here with us soon, or I will bring her to the screen. But I'm looking forward to having her and her sharing all of her good information. But come on, you know the routine. Let's see who is here. Put in the comments who's here, where your location is. You know, I'm Clarene, the LinkedIn Results Igniter, all about LinkedIn. So it's all about networking, building that community, that sisterhood, that peer group, so that we can support each other. And as you're coming on, share the video as well. Share it to your profile so we can have more people in the house for this important information. So who's with us? Who's with us? Come on. I'm going to get started, though, with my introduction before I get too far into this and forget. I am Clarene Mitchell, the host, the creator of Imposter Syndrome Disrupted. I come to you here every second and fourth Tuesday at noon Eastern Standard Time for us to disrupt imposter syndrome. This show is all about supporting. Hello, Molly. Nice to have you. I'm putting you on the screen because you're the first one to check in. So hello to have you. Welcome to have you. Greenfield, Wisconsin, right? So nice to have you. And all right, my lady's coming in the house now. But let me get back to, Savannah, Georgia here. Yes. Nice to have you, Miss Ford. Let me get back to my introduction because I'll forget to say everything. So this show is all about empowering women entrepreneurs, for us, again, to come together and talk and encourage and support each other so we can break out of whatever imposter thoughts that we may have about all of our brilliance, and leverage LinkedIn like bosses so that we can grow our businesses and take them to the next level, right? We don't want to be the statistics where our businesses fold, right? We don't want to go into that. We want to keep moving on and keep growing. And so that's what this show is about. I'm a LinkedIn expert, so I provide LinkedIn coaching, group training, event speaking, and I'm an author of a LinkedIn book. I'm going to talk about that in a few moments because I have a giveaway today for you. But that's me. But that's what I do on a daily basis as a solo entrepreneur. But this show is all about us, the sisterhood of women entrepreneurs. All right. So as we get started, come on, continue to check in as I go through our introductory information or our schedule of what I share with you each episode. And as a reminder, and I'm going to share this again. So I'm not an imposter syndrome expert. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor, any of that. Again, I'm a LinkedIn expert. So sharing with you again, this definition of imposter syndrome, and it's the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved rather, or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. I kind of chopped that up, messed it up as I was reading, but it's really, and you're going to see the tie between this and then someone you may not think deals with imposter syndrome. So that's our definition of imposter syndrome. Now let me get to the quote I want to share, the motivational quote I want to share, inspirational quote with you this week. And I'm going to do it that way. So Viola Davis, phenomenal woman. Phenomenal woman. One of my go-tos when it's like, okay, get back into your A game, Clarene. Like getting inspiration for Viola Davis, and as successful as she is in all the wars that she's won, she still deals with imposter syndrome. She's been on the cover and I should have one right here, and it's too far away for me to go grab it. But she's been on the cover, fabulous covers of magazines, and just at the height, now when it comes to what she does, she's not an entrepreneur, but she's someone we can really take some inspiration from. Not an entrepreneur that I'm aware of. Let me say that. And so this quote, it feels like hard work has paid. It feels like my hard work has paid off. But at the same time, I still have the imposter syndrome. I still feel like I'm going to wake up and everyone's going to see me for the hack I am. Wow. This is what Viola Davis said in an acceptance award, speech. Now, not only did she say it during that time frame, she said it other times and more recently. And why this is a part of the show today is oh my goodness, a phenomenal evening recently of watching OWN Spotlight. So Oprah Winfrey's OWN Spotlight, where she has a show one-on-one with a phenomenal guest and really has a dedicated time. Viola Davis was a guest recently in a recent episode, and she started off the episode talking about imposter syndrome. And again, a woman at the height of what she does, and it was all about her recent role with the Ma Rainey film, and her talking about even playing that role and just her career and dealing with imposter syndrome. And so I wanted to share a clip today, but I didn't get permission. OWN network did not respond to my request yet. I'm saying yet. Instead of they just didn't respond for me to make sure I had permission, because I turn this into a podcast episode, a YouTube episode, and I put it everywhere. And so I didn't want to make any issues or have any issues licensing wise. So I'm not going to share the clip, but after each episode, so in a couple of hours, I will publish an article on LinkedIn that will be the Imposter Syndrome Disrupted News Digest. I do that every episode. It will include the link to or you can just go to YouTube and put it in YouTube. Viola Davis OWN Spotlight, you'll see it. But right off from the beginning in that interview, she's talking about imposter syndrome, and how it's impacted her and continues to impact her. And so there's some who say there's no such thing as imposter syndrome, or whatever you want to call it, lack of confidence or mental barriers that keep us from moving forward and claiming our greatness. So that little bit of inspiration. And so let me go back and see who's with us. Dr. Brown from Kingston, Jamaica. Nice to have you here with us. A LinkedIn user. You're here from New York City. And for those who have not given StreamYard permission, at the top in the text of this live, you should see the link for you to click right on that link to give StreamYard permission. Then I can see your face and know who I'm talking to instead of it just saying LinkedIn user. But happy to have you. Hey, Clarene, I feature men because it's like there are allies, there are supporters, right? It's not just us doing this alone. We have to have the support of others. So great to have you here with us, Dan. Thank you for joining. From Illinois, fellow Midwesterner. Arlene, nice to have you here. So happy to have you here. This is your first event with us live. Thank you. Where are you from? Where are you checking in from? Okay, so I want to share with you the raffle process, or the giveaway process, before I get into the News Digest items and then move on. And so, I'm using StreamYard, and I'm a huge StreamYard friend because they're user-friendly to me. It makes it easy for me, somewhat non-techie person, to be able to do this, right? So I use StreamYard, but they recently had announced this new feature where it's this cool electronic way. Let me show you for a minute. Where it's this cool electronic way where it's like a virtual raffle giveaway, where right on the screen you'll see you'll be able to win. And so the prize today will be my LinkedIn, so my Shine Online with LinkedIn book that I that I wrote and self-published in 2019. But I want you to start putting, hey, Patrick from Denver, nice to have you here as well. I see you in the chat. So put in the hashtag Black Women Handle Business, and our guest will talk all about what that is. But put in the chat Black Women Handle Business, the #, only once though. Only once, because you can't stack your chances. You only can do once, because then the system voids you out for multiples, or only put your name in once. But put Black Women Handle Business in the chat, all of you. And then we're going to get to, after our guest presents her information, we're going to do the drawing, and then you'll be able to see if you're the winner today. Okay? So, and I'm going to put that as a reminder for the ticker, so that as others come in, they know to do that. But put it in there once. Black Women Handle Business. The # Black Women Handle Business. So, okay, Arlene, you're in Tennessee. Great to have you from Tennessee. It's Tawanda from New York. Okay, good. All right, get it started. I see you, Dr. Brown, with the hashtag Black Women Handle Business. Let's blow LinkedIn up with that hashtag today. All right. Good job. So the news digest, and or the news items, and I'll put them in the article shortly or later today. So the first one is Rise Up, a study of 700 Black women entrepreneurs. This was published on April 15th by Tech Nation Canada. So I will share that great resource or insights into understanding the experience of these 700 Black women entrepreneurs. The second item is why women entrepreneurs are the future of the startup ecosystem. And that was an article by Entrepreneur Magazine. I'm a little late because I like to stay real recent, but this one was of March 3rd of this year. And then the fourth one is four branding strategies every startup founder should know about. And that was April 21st in Entrepreneur Magazine as well. And then the last one is women-owned businesses are driving pandemic growth, but many miss out on PP loans. We already know that, right? But here's an article about that. It was published on April 26th of this year, of course. So just a few days ago actually, that was just yesterday on PBS NewsHour. Okay, so I will put all of those in the article that I will publish, a couple hours from now. All right. So all of that business is done. Okay, let me hasten on because I'm ready. Hello, Thomas. Nice to have you here. And again, everyone, reminder, put Black Women Handle Business hashtag in the chat, in the comments, so that you have your opportunity. So here it is, my book, Shine Online with LinkedIn. You'll be able to win one of these for free. All right. Lots of tips, lots of user-friendly information on how to leverage LinkedIn. Okay, I'm bringing in my guest now because I can't wait anymore. You ready, Elizabeth? She's saying yes, I'm ready. she was ready.
I stay ready.
I didn't what you say? You stay ready?
I stay ready.
You stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
That's it.
So nice to have you. Okay.
Thank you.
Y'all don't know how phenomenal it is for me to have her. Elizabeth even accepted my invitation to be on here because I'm very methodical with who I have as my guest. There is rhyme and reason and purpose to it. Again, here's some backup a little bit, but to bring value to you, I want to have quality guests. And this is who we have right now. Oh my goodness. So Elizabeth Leiba, right? Is how you pronounce your last name?
It's actually Leiba.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Leiba.
No, because there are people in my family that say Leiba, but they just kind of gave up and just said it was Leiba, but it's Leiba.
Let's get it right. Elizabeth Leiba. Let's get it right. So we're rather recent connections on LinkedIn. That's how I got introduced to you, so to speak. And I'm not sure if it was because I saw one of your posts or someone else engaged and we connected. And I think it was back in November of last year, somewhere around that time. But then more recently, I watched one of your lives and you were talking about Black women handle business, the launch of Black women handle business. And I'm like, this has to be on my show because it's right in line with what we talk about. One of my recent episodes, I had Carrie Murray, Abroad Network, and it's all about, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble because I'm a member of the network, and business relationship network, I think is the acronym, but it's a women's entrepreneur networking organization out of California, out of LA, but national. But continuing with that thought, all about Black women handle business. And I don't want to take the thunder, so I'm going to just be quiet and let you introduce yourself and let you introduce the platform and all of that. The stage is yours, Elizabeth.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I am, I guess, to give a little bit of context or background about myself, I am a 20-year veteran of higher education. I took a few years break because I also worked as the editor of the newspaper at the Seminole Reservation here in South Florida. So I started in higher education in the early 2000s, took a break, was the editor of the paper there for a few years, and then went back to higher education, this time in the classroom. Previously to that, when I first started in higher ed, I was in admissions, a recruiter. So primarily higher education has been the area that I've worked in for the past 2 decades. I've typically always worked with underserved or marginalized communities, which is why I worked on the Seminole Reservation. They're an indigenous tribe here in South Florida. I've worked typically at like community colleges, career colleges, and my passion is working with students that look like me, students that maybe I went to a school that was 90% Black. Most of the students were not college bound. About 80% or so of the students were below poverty level. About 83% were on free lunch. So, and I was in that number. So the chances of going to college were pretty slim. And I went to a school that actually really focused on, we had a lot of Black teachers, and they really focused on empowering us and helping to build our self-esteem, helping us to see that we could do anything. So I ended up going to a state school here in Florida, went to school for journalism, and actually had a big dose of imposter syndrome because I went there on a full scholarship. I went there for journalism. It's just a top school, University of Florida, top school in journalism. Oh, wow. And was in minority internship, so worked for the local paper here during high school and in college. All right. And then right before I graduated, I'm like,
yes, fellow. Yes.
But you know what? The thing about that imposter syndrome, and I think that's why I've always been passionate about higher education, is that for Black women, particularly women that are coming from, Black folk in general, but particularly I think women, because we have that additional layer of some of the societal struggle of being women that sometimes you're told you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right.
And I think when I got to University of Florida, I felt like, everyone, it was like the look left, look right. Those people won't be there at graduation. And this is, we're going to weed you out, and you have to, only the strong survive. And a lot of that messaging really started to get to me. And when I was about to graduate, I just decided not to go into journalism. I ended up actually becoming a teacher because my mom, who's an immigrant, I was a first gen student, writing, are you gonna be able to find a job? That job does, I'm a nurse, my job pays more than that. Like, you didn't even have to go to college if you're gonna do that. So I was like, you know what?
Traditional, secure job, and
very traditional, very secure. And I started to kind of doubt myself and feel like, you know what, if I'm gonna have to struggle in the newsroom and have this crazy schedule and be on deadline and not really be able to be able to have a family, because that's what a lot of the Black women were telling me that were in the newsroom, like, hey, you're going to have to hustle twice as hard as everybody else. They're going to make sure that, they don't, there's no excuses here. And I just felt like, if I'm going to make no money, I might as well be a teacher.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
You reminded me how, and again, the value and the importance of networking as women entrepreneurs, and the value of that. You never know the connection you have with people, and that's in general, even on LinkedIn. You never know the connections or the similarities you may have with people and how
Yes.
those similarities help to, forge that bond. Like, so I went to college, my communications degree, my whole aspiration was to become a broadcast journalist. But I was a single mother of 3 children at that point.
Right.
That being a single mother and being a broadcast journalist
doesn't go together. Yeah.
It doesn't go together because I needed the flexibility, like you
Right.
said, the flexibility, being able to, make my mark in the industry and be able to move and travel to the great opportunities, or be able to work the crazy hours. I couldn't do that. So I had to go then a more traditional route, secure, stable, to prioritize my family, but yet still do and make a living, right? So again, you just never know the experiences that you have with people. Yes.
And that's why I'm all about community. I think in the past year being on LinkedIn, I had been in higher education for so long, been a faculty member, working in instructional design. And I came on LinkedIn last year because I'm looking to connect with people. I'm looking to kind of break out of my bubble.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
No,
you came on LinkedIn last year.
Last year, right before January, New Year, New Me, 2020, before the pandemic.
Right. But okay, little over a year. Let me just say this to everyone who's watching. If you're not already connected with Elizabeth and don't understand who she is powerhouse wise on LinkedIn, that's why I'm like, wait a minute, it's only been a year. And this woman has made her mark on LinkedIn big time. Like, just the impact that she's made with what she does diversity and inclusion wise on LinkedIn. I love the boldness, the unadulterated, unfiltered, authentic Elizabeth that's bold, but in less than a year and made your mark on the platform. So much so that you were featured, because you're not going to say this, I'm going to say this. So much so that you were featured in a New York Times article, right? So, phenomenal. Now I'm gonna try to be quiet. I'm gonna try.
No, you're fine. Interrupt. Because like you said, some of these things, it almost seems kind of surreal. So sometimes I don't bring it up because I'm just like, that actually happened. That seems like a dream, because I really was just going on LinkedIn last year just because I'm like, I'm getting stale. I've been in higher ed for so long. I got to network, and I wasn't job hunting. I'm still not job hunting.
Right.
I was more just wanting to just come out of my shell and meet other people in the field. And I just started connecting with a lot of people in higher ed. A couple guys that had just started a podcast. They were like, hey, you're kind of spicy. You're on here posting about Black girl magic. At the time, I hadn't even really been getting really super outspoken. It was right before George Floyd was actually murdered. So I hadn't been super vocal at that point, but I was speaking up about just Black History Month and Black girl magic and just being my true self. A lot of people actually, a couple people that I knew were like, hey, you better chill out. You're getting a little spicy there. And I just felt like, no, I'm not job hunting. I was going to speak my truth. And actually, I joined the podcast. We started doing episodes of the Higher Ed podcast. It's called The Ed Up Experience. And then George Floyd was killed. And it just literally took the wind out of my sails. Everything that I saw, I started having panic attacks, really major anxiety, because I felt like this is not right. This is not fair. And in the classroom, I always tell my students, if you see something, say something. Be a leader in your community. Right. I talk about my upbringing and how I'm from very humble beginnings as an immigrant myself. So I just felt like it would be disingenuous for me not to speak up about what I was seeing. And I told my podcast co-host at the time, we had only had a few episodes, and I was just like, you know what, guys, I think I'm gonna take a step back, because I don't feel in the mood to do podcasting. At that point, we had only had a few podcasts. We just celebrated our 200th episode. We just published an episode with the president of Howard University, Dr. Wayne Frederick.
I'm like, whoa. Yes.
Yeah. So the podcast has skyrocketed. We interviewed Selwyn Jones, who is the uncle of George Floyd. We interviewed him and posted that interview last week, right after the verdict.
Okay.
And a lot of my advocacy has come from me just feeling like in the Black community. So that's where the New York Times article came from. That was last year, like around summertime, where I had been very vocal, and I had a writer reach out to me and say, hey, we want to feature you and talk about your advocacy among some other people that were on LinkedIn, and how LinkedIn was kind of switching gears and becoming like a water cooler of sorts for Black folk. So I guess when I think about entrepreneurship, my I guess focus has been on myself. It has been on, rather than me being in the bubble of higher education and only focusing on this is my job, this is what I do. What do I do that really fills me up, fills other people up? How can I help other people? How can I help the community? What can I do that inspires me, inspires other people? And that was where working on the podcast, it was where launching Black History and Culture Academy, which I did that earlier this year with about 20 plus classes in Black history. Because I started to feel like I was posting on Black history or posting on inequity. People like, that happens. Redlining is a thing. Yeah, it's a thing, you know.
Okay, girl, that
Inequity
was a whole different show to get started in that conversation. Let's talk about then. So, how did you get from all of that to now creating Black Women Handle Business? And I'm going to bring it up so you can walk people through so people can see the website. But what's the focus of that? You know, it's like your baby now. It's your brand new project.
This is my brand new baby because it's come from me looking at, I talk about Black history, I talk about social justice, I talk about inequity, but a very special passion of mine is Black women and our ability to, like you said, a lot of Black women entrepreneurs do suffer from that second guessing, where the Black women, I was posting a lot of stats actually about Black women entrepreneurs, about the lack of funding, venture capital funding. 2% of venture capital funding goes to women and only 0.006% goes to Black women. Black women's businesses usually net around $24,000 a year. Black women don't have the ability to ramp up and get credit at the same rates as other demographics, white women, as well as obviously men and other demographics. So I started to feel like, well, women, we need our own community of support. And about, I'd say a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I started thinking in the vein of, why don't I create a community, a directory where Black women can promote their businesses, talk about what they're doing, connect with other Black women that are doing good things, find resources like, hey, support each other. What are you doing? This is what I'm doing. Also a place that other people can go to. So if people are looking to support Black women businesses, here's a place where you can go, where you can find women that have listed their business. And if people have services that they have to offer, they can contact Black women and say, hey, I have marketing services. Are you interested? If they want to support Black women and give Black women some resources. So I just felt like it was really important for me to create a community. And up to now, I think I just launched about a week and a half ago. We have over 50 active members. I think we have about 36 or so profiles that are completed and 50 members total that are that includes people that are still working on their profiles.
I'm showing the profiles now where people can see those.
So those women are able to, something like LinkedIn, where you're able to post your profile, post your website, tell people what your specialty is, promote yourself as a business owner, or if you even are just a professional that just wants to talk about what you do, and create space. We want to celebrate Black women. I feel as though Black women in particular need to be celebrated. We need to be, our voices need to be amplified. We typically don't get that. A lot of times in the workplace, when people saw Kamala Harris saying, you know, excuse me, Mr. Vice President, I'm talking, a lot of people took that as a meme, like, oh, that's kind of funny, but it actually is true.
Serious business. Like, listen.
Very serious. And I couldn't really laugh at that meme, you know, because I feel as though it actually is a serious microaggression that Black women are encountering, where we're not able to necessarily step out and like with my parents, it was like, just get a solid job. Like, why are you trying to do this? And a lot of times it's a side hustle, right? Another meme I saw on social media was, when Black women are trying to do a business, it's a side hustle. When other people do it, it's you're being an entrepreneur.
It's a business. It's legit.
It's a business.
There was a recent story, and I don't remember all the details, but a recent story where a Black woman, doctor, PhD doctor,
I saw that.
You know what I'm talking about. He refused to recognize her and call her doctor. He got fired, right?
Yes.
Consequences should happen. Like, absolutely. If it was in reverse, right? It's automatic. Yes, call me doctor, refer to me by my title, but the same respect isn't given the other way. So most definitely.
Absolutely.
that meme for Kamala Harris, vice president, let me say that, vice president Kamala Harris, is like, it struck to the hearts of Black women because that's our lived experience on a daily basis. It wasn't just a meme or a joke. For us, it resonated with us. And, you know, and I'm still trying to find a I'm speaking t-shirt or something, right? Because that became like our rally cry then. I'm speaking, recognize, and listen.
And that's really important. And that's why I felt like this community, unlike a LinkedIn or other communities where you're kind of in the shuffle, I felt like creating a space where Black women are, even in the design of the website, I was really intentional. Let me find authentic looking Black women. Let me showcase the beauty of Black women. You know, a lot of times we don't see that. And I feel like those things are really important. I feel like it's important in culture. You know, it's important in media. You talked about Viola Davis. She's definitely a hero because her being real and authentic. I'm so saddened by the fact that she's been nominated so many times and hasn't won, because I feel like she's such an amazing actress. And we have to really, she talks about this even, like if she's been to Juilliard, she's been through all the classical training like a Glenn Close or like a Meryl Streep, but isn't getting the same recognition or isn't getting the same pay even as some of these other actresses. So I think that her example is very salient to us as Black women professionals, us as Black women entrepreneurs. The site is subscription based, so it's actually free. So for those that want to sign up and get a free account, for a premium account, it's a low monthly subscription. So if you want to just have the very basic account, it's free. But if you want a premium account where you're able to showcase your website, showcase your phone number and things like that, it's a low monthly subscription fee. And the point of it is to create space so that we can amplify, we can support, we can reach out, we can go somewhere. Honestly, in the past 2 weeks, I just go on there and I just scroll through the directory. I have like hearts in my eyes, like the heart face emoji, looking at all that beauty and all that like dynamic women that are amazing and doing big things and have their businesses and, you know, have listed all the things that they're doing. And I'm like, that is so good. We need to see that.
I think there's just a small fraction of the representation of us who are out here having our businesses and not getting the exposure or the recognition, right? Or the business specifically to keep us going, where we're not in that demographic of only the annual average being 24,000. That is just that one, just like, we need to change that. And so that's why I applaud you for creating a platform of creating an opportunity for people who want to do business with Black women entrepreneurs. This is the easy go-to resource to find us Black women entrepreneurs and do business with us. Right? Not just have it as the lip service or the politically correct thing we say, or not they say in the empty words, but putting it in action. Prioritize.
Yeah, support Black women. Okay, you want to support Black women? And I've been posting about this. Like, okay, you want to support Black women? Here we are. Come support us.
No excuses. You're making it easy. And support is an action word. It's just not, something passive or feel good.
Thumbs up. Good job.
No, the thumbs up doesn't do anything for the rent that has to be paid, the lights that have to be on, all of that, the gas in the car. No, it doesn't do anything for any of that. So the thumbs up, that's feel good. But what about action and making it?
And I think when it comes to the statistics on Black women entrepreneurs, the Black women are the largest demographic that are starting businesses. So what you talked about in the very beginning is very true, that the small business, the entrepreneurship, everything that's happened since COVID, where people are reevaluating, where am I spending my time? Am I spending my time doing things that fill me up, or am I doing things that are draining? Am I spending time with my family, or am I building my own empire and a legacy for my kids? And I think as Black women, we are the ones that are in particular leaving the workforce because we're like, you know what, this side hustle could become my full-time gig. It's not going to be a side hustle. This is going to be my real job, because if you can get it to that point, but like we talked about, that $24,000 is not enough to pay the bills, pay the mortgage, pay the light bill. So how do we encourage each other? How do we support each other? I'm a very big proponent, which is why in teaching Black history, It's important for us as Black folk, because this is what I was taught growing up here in East Fort Lauderdale, totally Black school. We were taught greatness, our legacy. We had all Black teachers. I had a handful of white teachers my whole high school. You have to see greatness. You have to see that that's real. You have to see.
And so many don't, though.
And speak life into each other as Black women. Hey girl, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. This is how I've done it. That's what I wanted to create. I feel like on LinkedIn, a lot of it is everyone doesn't want to necessarily play that like role of, oh, I'm Black empowerment, because a lot of times what happens is, and I get it myself, I actually was a little bit tearful over the weekend, because you get trolled a lot, right? You get people saying, well, why are you highlighting the Black part? Like, why can't you just talk about women? Or why can't you just, we're all people. In a perfect world, that would be true. But unfortunately, we live in a society where Black folk are marginalized, and Black women are in particular marginalized when it comes to work, when it comes to pay, when it comes to promotions, when it comes to businesses. This is not me speculating. This is statistically proven. And this is coming from, Department of, this is federal. So this is not something that I'm just saying to be divisive, because I think sometimes I get a little bit frustrated, because I'm like, okay, there's no reason for me to be divisive and say that Black folk are struggling if we're not. Obviously, there's so many areas.
It's facts, though. And
it's you facts.
And again, I want to have a whole different conversation with you, but I'm trying to stay focused.
I know. but the site is built for us to collaborate, for us to see each other, for us to amplify each other, for us to network and create that space.
Right. And not be stuck in a competitive mode. We can support each other, right?
Absolutely. There's more than enough to go around.
Thank you. And back to the comment about why Black, we can't change the statistics if we keep ignoring or watering them down. There has to be a focused effort and consistent and genuine and action-oriented support to flip the statistics around, or otherwise it's going to continue with that gap of the 24,000 other percentages you stated. Okay, so we're already over time, but the conversation was too rich. So, and I see everyone putting in the comments they want the website. So again, shortly after the program, I will be publishing my article that will be a summary of this episode, which will include the news articles I share, but it will include her site as well. Or you can just Google Black Women Handle Business. And you'll get to it as well. When you Google it, don't put a space in the words, just put them straight and you'll get to it. But it will be in my news digest later this afternoon, all of the information. Let's do the raffle. How about that? Let's do the raffle, and let's see who's going to be the winner. So everyone put in the chat, in the comments, what did I say? Hashtag Black Women Handle Business. The name of this platform. Put in the chat, in the comments, Black Women Handle Business. Let me get to, I'm going to go back and pull up the fun thing so we can do the raffle, the giveaway. Have you used this feature yet?
I have not used it yet, but I will sure try it now that I see your example.
Is brand new. So everyone put this in. They had it in beta form, and then so Sunday, because StreamYard on Sunday evenings they have a Facebook Live town hall, and then they do it on the other platforms. But I can watch it on Facebook, and so they launched it to the public now. So, all right. So for the sake of time, I see some have put it in. And if you have a question, it's up to you. So if I can ask you, Elizabeth, if you can visit the chat later, I'm going to ask you for timing. I'm going to ask you if you have questions for Elizabeth specifically, directly, put a capital Q in the chat, and then type your question. So make a comment with a capital Q and then your question, and then Elizabeth will visit the chat and respond to your questions later. I'm putting this up here though. We need to support Black media so we can promote Black women handling business. We need hits at, and so that site is there. I'm not familiar with it, but I will check it out later. But yes, I understand. So as someone who has a background in journalism and media, as a wife of a Black Newspaper editor, I agree. We need to support media so we can get the word out about all of what we do. But then we as Black women entrepreneurs are stuck in, again, the 24,000 on an annual basis. It's hard to pay for ads and media and all of that
Right.
with 24,000 a year.
Yes,
But
exactly.
I totally understand. So let me do this. It's so fun. Let me see if I can do it right. We only have 6 entries, so I'm going once, going twice. If you want the LinkedIn book, the Shine Online with LinkedIn book, put the hashtag Black Women Handle Business in the comments so that you get into the running for the book. Anything else you want to add while I'm trying to wait for others to put the hashtag in?
I just feel like what you said, that last point about us supporting each other, is so important. I've met so many amazing, yourself included, beautiful, amazing, smart, just so driven Black women over the past year on LinkedIn. Ashanti Martin was the one that wrote the Black LinkedIn is Thriving article. She's amazing. And just so many other women that have motivated me, inspired me. We a lot of times we're stuck in where we live, our own community, maybe our job, where we might be just one or two, a handful of us. On LinkedIn, there's a really vibrant community of Black women. And I think that's really what my takeaway has been over the past year, is that Black women, there is this, like the young lady said about us changing that narrative using the media. There is this narrative of Black women are competitive, Black women, we're scratching each other's eyeballs out. And I don't know where some of this stuff comes from. And unfortunately, some of those negative stereotypes that are pervasive throughout media become what that kind of narrative is in your head, and you think that. And I've seen so many Black women that have reached out to me, that have supported me, that have sent me messages and told me, like, keep doing what you're doing, and we can be that for each other, and we can help each other. There's, 7 billion people or whatever. There's more, 6.8. There's more than enough to go around. I always come from I never come from an idea of there's lack. There's prosperity. There's enough for everybody. And if we all support each other, just like you're doing with me, and I appreciate you having me on the show, because being able to help me to promote this is helping other women, and we can all support each other and promote each other. And it gives us the ability to all go further together, right? So
together.
I appreciate this.
We can do more. We can win together. We don't
Absolutely
have to be separated. So I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing. So let's look and see. Look at that. Isn't it cool?
That is so cool. I like that.
Watch, because it's going to go on to the person who wins. It's getting there. There you
go. Look at that. That is so cool.
Right. And so, and actually, I believe Matt is the one who had the question about the media. I believe. I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
Yeah, about supporting Black women.
Yes. So, and then now she's won the book. Yay. So, Meta, please send me a direct message on LinkedIn with your mailing address, and then you'll get your copy of this book in the mail soon. Okay. Congratulations. Such a cool feature. I love that feature. It's
cool. I like that.
But congrats. Thank you, everyone. There are some questions in the chat, and there may be more coming. The major advertisers are claiming, the major advertisers who are claiming to support diversity and equity inclusion, that's so true. They do. They have the money, and that's even with not just media, but corporations, period. And again, to what we were talking about before, about not just the thumbs up or the empty words, right? Or just, real tangible support, where it's just not the statements or the feel goods or the whatever, putting the money where the mouth is, so to speak, as the saying goes. Putting the money. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, not the performative, right? And I think someone asked, like, how do I support business? I think by Black women businesses, my biggest thing is us spending with each other, us supporting each other in terms of amplifying each other's voices, us finding ways to collaborate with each other, like what we're doing today. That's what I've done. And I think the website was me thinking of, well, what am I good at? And I think sometimes you have to use your gift, whatever your gift is. And my gift has always been, like you, I come from the journalism background. So how can I amplify people? What can I do to give people a voice? And the same thing in education. How can I empower someone? So that really has been my gift for other Black women, is finding ways to collaborate with them and give them a platform to share their truth. On the podcast, we've added some Black women that have their own podcast under the network, the podcast network that we have. So any way that I can to show and amplify and create narratives of Black women in a positive light. That's really what my goal is in terms of supporting Black women.
And it takes more of us doing that. And when more of us do that, then it just grows and it builds. And then we can really see change, right?
Yeah.
And so thank you again. That is phenomenal. I want to remind people, I'm not taking you off the screen, so I'm not even going to put up my promotional graphic about this. I'm just going to talk people through and just leave you here so we can continue to have the Black Girl Magic moment with the two of us on the screen.
Oh, don't you love that? Yeah, melanin popping right now. That's what it is.
It's filling my soul, my spirit. So I'm taking from it, and I hope others are, enjoying it as well. Because it's not about me; it's all about all of us. So it's not just the Black girl for me. But I want to remind everyone, and this is a part of my offerings to the larger community as well as business development, but my LinkedIn Power Moves for Entrepreneurs, the event I generally offer every other month or once a quarter, is in a couple days, so 2 days away on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So 7 to 8:30 is a masterclass virtual live where I provide you tangible ways that you can boss up on LinkedIn to help you move your business forward. So if you have not registered already, please do. Registration ends on Wednesday. So register now before the seats are gone, because there's only, I think, 10 or 12 more seats left. So limited a number of opportunities. So if you've not registered, please do register for that. It's a free event, virtual. And if you're not getting leads from LinkedIn on a regular basis, consistent basis for your business, attend so you can learn what you can do differently, because that's how you can really level up and take your business to the next level, because LinkedIn is the number one business or number one professional business social media platform. So why not leverage it in that way? All right. So if there's nothing else, we're going to end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We have a man, so I always have to acknowledge the men for supporting the sisters, the women. Lawrence Jordan, nice to have you, sir. Good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you so much, everyone. This is it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
This, and everyone, check out the News Digest article later today for all the other details. And if you're a Black woman entrepreneur, what are you going to do? Like ASAP. Like for real. What are you going to do if you're a Black woman entrepreneur? I can't hear you. Like, what you saying? You're going to sign up for Black Women Handle Business, right? And if you're someone who wants to support with action, Black women entrepreneurs, prioritize doing business first. When you need some business taken care of, or a resource or a service or product, you're going to go to the Black Women Handle Business website first to see if someone on that platform offers the service or the products that you're looking for, right? You're going to put it in action by supporting the platform. And we're going to be on the platform supporting each other and cheering each other on as well. Okay? That is it, because I will keep talking, so I have to stop. So thank you, everyone. The next episode will be on, can you believe? Like May 1st is Saturday. So the next episode will be on May 11th. That is like, 2021 is going. I'm ready. But that's the next episode. We will see you then. Take care, everyone. Until then, boss it up. Handle your business. Make it happen.